Hello, everyone, and welcome to the arrowsup podcast. We just finished watching the World Cup qualifiers for Europe, and we had four really good games. You had a lot of tension, a lot of drama. These games are for the World Cup qualifier, as this is the playoff for them, as these teams are playing just for the opportunity to get in. They weren't able to qualify outright. They had to, and then FIFA has this thing where they have a playoff and they get different regions. This was the European one, and obviously the two biggest surprises that were here was Italy and Portugal. And leading up to this game, what we had was an expectation that next Tuesday we were going to get Portugal versus Italy. Winner goes to the World Cup. One of these two giants isn't going to make it. And we were just with that expectation. We turned on the games today, and that was the expectation. Portugal's going to win. Italy's going to win. We're going to have a great match next Tuesday, right? That's what we thought. That's what happened, right? No, not at all. So this is what went on. Portugal starts off in Portugal 2-0. The first two goals are scored in the first half immediately. Comfortable lead, 2-0 Portugal. After that, after the whole start, the confidence is in Portugal's side, the momentum, the fans are going crazy, the game's in Portugal. The game gets tight. And it just seems over and over again with this Portugal team. They have great players. They have great talent. Their players play in the top clubs in Europe. And sure, Portugal had a lot of guys out today. A lot of their premier defensive guys were out today. But you look at their team, you're like, dude, these guys should have not been here. One, that should be said from the beginning. They should have not been here. But two, these guys should have taken care of Turkey. But the game got tight. Turkey scored. And then Portugal just kind of there was a penalty. There was a penalty, and they missed it. Turkey missed it. The Turkish player just kicked it and skied it, and Portugal was alive and well, up 2-1. They get the third one. They send them packing. All the while in Italy, right? We are under the belief we're going to get Portugal versus Italy, these two giants going at it. One of these teams is not going to make it. Little Macedonia, shout out to Macedonia. Congratulations to Macedonia, to their fans. They upset Italy, the 4-time World Cup champions, the Euro champions. They upset them. Stoppage time, a stunning goal, really. And we have now in for a ticket to the World Cup, Portugal versus Macedonia, not Italy. Italy is out. They were eliminated at home. Now, if you're Italy, there was, this was coming. Obviously, hindsight is 2020. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like, oh yeah, for sure, I thought Macedonia was gonna win. But if we look at this Italian team closely, yes, they win the Euros, and yes, it seemed like Italian football was back. These guys are back. The embarrassment of not making the 2018 World Cup is far behind them. This is a new Italy. It's been restructured, the whole thing. But after that, the qualifiers after the Euros, they didn't look good. They weren't playing well, and there was this just like, if you watch them, you were like, man, I don't know about this team. Could it be possible that they missed the World Cup again? And you just kept watching, and it comes to fruition here versus Macedonia. But it was such a monumental loss today, because this sends Italy, not only does it remove them from the World Cup, but there's certain teams, there's certain legacy teams that it is just not acceptable. To miss one World Cup, let alone two back to back. Italian football needs to go into a complete rebuild of their system, from the coaching, from the players, all the way through, because Italy has really good players. There's no reason why Italy at home should lose to Macedonia in a game that sends you to the World Cup qualifier final. To make it to the World Cup, there's no way. There's nothing that makes this loss okay if you're Italy. But the beauty of sports is that on paper, we can read the rosters. We can read where these guys play. We can look at the pedigree on paper of these guys. Jorginho, who some people were saying he should have won the Ballon d'Or, which it's most of those people are Italian or Chelsea fans. But the reality is, you look at this team with Verratti, with all these other guys on the Italian team that play for top clubs in Italy, in England, in Spain. You look at these guys in France with PSG and Verratti and Donnarumma. You look at these guys and you just think like, man, like, how do you not get up for this game? Throughout the game, it was just Italy there was no creativity. There was no rush. There was no passion to get a hold of this game. And one of the things that happens in football is the longer the game goes on and the longer you see a team linger, especially inferior team. If you're a superior team and you let an inferior team linger, sooner or later, it's going to come back to bite you. And towards the end, when we thought, man, Portugal has secured their goal, they've secured the third one, they're going to Tuesday's game, I guess we're going to have extra time in Italy. And Macedonia strikes. 1-0. Macedonia moves on to Tuesday. Italy is out. The other games, Gareth Bale. If you're a Madridista, you just have to. You look at Bale's performance, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Let me do the game, then I'll do my little rant on Bale. Wales wins 2-1 against Austria. I think Wales just was in control the whole game. Austria had a little momentum shift, and they had the little moment. But it just, watching that game, it just didn't seem like Wales was ever in any trouble. But Gareth Bale has 2 goals, has a free kick that just was amazing. Just a beautiful goal. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you'll find it on social media, either Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. I'm sure it'll be on there somewhere. Now, Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale is a world-class player. I want to get that out there. Gareth Bale, from Tottenham and even in his beginning years with Real Madrid, the creation of the BBC with Bale, Benzema, and Ronaldo, or Cristiano, because the BBC, you had the creation of this man that you saw him on the pitch and he was just ferocious. He was big, he was fast, he was strong, and he just, when he is right, you understand why Real Madrid made him the highest paid player when they got him. You understand why there was just this expectation, why his agent said when Cristiano leaves, it's okay, Gareth Bale is gonna take the mantle. He's gonna be the guy. He's gonna be the superstar at Real Madrid, and it didn't happen. You can see the frustration of the Madridistas who see Christian Bale, and when Christian Bale is right, I keep calling him Christian Bale. When Gareth Bale is right, you get a player that is world class, There's certain players in the world, and Encante, I think, is like this. There's certain players in the world that Pogba to me is like that too. There's certain players in the world that you look at them, and when they're at their best, logically in your brain, because you watch soccer, you watch the game, you watch football, you know who the greatest players are, you know who the best player is, the whole thing. But at least you have an opinion of who it is. And Bale would never be the best player in the world. Pogba, Kante, they're never the best players in the world. If you sit down and make a list, right, who's the best player in the world? But when those guys are at their best, when they are playing at their peak, you're watching them, it's one of those like, man, it's really, I know there's guys better than him. It's just really hard to imagine that there's a player better than him, and that's Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale is that player. Gareth Bale is the player. But when you look at him, when you study him, you're just like, dude, there is a guy better than you. And as a Madridista, I watch him just be a clown. I watch him put up injury after injury, some of them real, I guess. There was a report that he presented the team with a 30,000 medical bill this week, and the team rejected it. You get a guy who doesn't make himself available for games, and Real Madrid would have needed this Bale in El Clásico on Sunday. And then he goes to Wales, and he's it's like, oh yeah, Gareth Bale is still Gareth Bale. So it's frustrating. He had an amazing game. He was good. And at the end, he was holding, he was like holding a muscle, like if he got hurt, because of course he is. And so that's my little rant on Gareth Bale. He's a great player, not Christian Bale. I kept calling him Christian Bale. Christian Bale's great, great actor, but Gareth Bale, that's my little rant on Gareth, on Gareth Bale. Let's do some World Cup qualifiers on this side of the world. We have today the big game, Mexico versus the USA. Big game for both. This one, the World Cup qualifiers for the CONCACAF, it's coming to an end, and this next week is going to be the final game before you get into the table, and before you get into the teams that are going to have to seek qualification through way of a playoff. And Mexico USA today, in a game where the USA has beat Mexico 3 straight times, that is well documented. This game is in El Azteca, and as well is documented just how good Mexico is. But what's also kind of circulating and coming up is Mexico has just not been that great anywhere, but including El Estadio Azteca. It's not the scary place that it used to be. And this USA player, these American players are not that afraid of going to El Estadio Azteca, considering some of these guys are playing in the top clubs in Europe, where they see scary situations, or they're in hostile environments all the time now. But this is going to be such an amazing game that's going to be played out. Important for both, but I think more so for Mexico, because Mexico comes into this third place. They haven't looked good. They've been stumbling. Somehow they're 21 points tied with the USA for second and third. The USA is second because they have the goal difference of +3 over Mexico with a +9. USA is +9 and Mexico is a +6 on the goal difference. But Mexico needs this game. They need this game not just for the obvious World Cup qualifier, but they need this game to kind of regain back this idea that the US has right now, that they are dominating now, that they own Mexico. We got to get some things clear. In the last 3 games, Mexico has been the better side. I know the US has won, and I know that's what we count. I know that's what's put out there, and I get it. The USA has won 3 straight, but if you're watching these games, like 90 minutes, you're actually watching the game, you understand what you're watching, you understand Mexico has been the better side. Mexico just does stupid things at stupid time at the wrong time that gets them beat. But Mexico has been the better team throughout this entire time. Throughout it all, they've been the better side, and that's what's frustrating. That's what me as a Mexican supporter, that's what gets me upset. Now, El Tata isn't going to be fired. As much as we want El Tata to be gone, he's not going to be fired. The World Cup is a few months from now. Even if he does get fired, you're not going to be able to bring in a guy who's going to be willing to coach this team. At least not a guy you want. Because the World Cup is in November. We're in March. It's just not going to happen. Chicharito's not going to come back to this team. It's just the way it is. Carlos Vela does want nothing to do with Mexico, let alone soccer. I mean, he's good and he gets paid for it. But he doesn't love soccer, and he said it multiple times. We have to understand. Mexico needs this to regain back the mental confidence when they play against the USA. They need to regain back their identity as the kings of the CONCACAF. Canada's playing great. Canada, by all counts, is going to probably finish first. But Mexico has to regain back their mental edge versus the USA, and that starts today. Today is the game where Mexico needs to rise up and just take it to the USA without relenting. There can't be any stops. There can't be any moments of letting them have confidence. The US lingers and lingers and lingers, and then pow, they just punch you. And they're really good at that. But this has to be Mexico's game. On the other side, the USA comes in injured. They have a lot of guys that are going to be out. The USA has a lot of confidence, though, playing against Mexico. And that is sometimes, I don't want to say it's all you need, but sometimes it seems like it is all you need. So as we get into the game, and this game is going to be played at 7 my time, Pacific time, in here, as I live here in LA, the USA is in danger because just what a turn of events this could be. Let me read you the table. The table stands as follows. Canada with 25 points, USA with 21 points, Mexico with 21 points, Panama with 17 points, and Costa Rica with 16 points. Those are the teams relatively still alive in this thing. El Salvador 9, Jamaica 7, and Honduras 3. They're out. They're not going to make it. The USA, in their next 3 games, they have Mexico today, they have Panama on Sunday, and next Wednesday, they have Costa Rica. Those are the next 3 games. I'll read them again. Mexico today, Panama on Sunday, Costa Rica on Wednesday. Now, this is huge because the USA, Panama, and I'll tell you who Panama plays, because Panama and Costa Rica are in, they have to win. They have to win out. And the USA, these next 3 games are going to be very tough games for them, because these games are going to dictate whether they go to the World Cup or not. So it is for them huge for them to get off to a great start today with a win. So this is what we have. Panama plays Honduras, which should be fairly easy for Honduras, for Panama to get those 3 points, which would take them to 20. Okay, that'll get them to 20. And they're rooting for either Mexico or USA to lose, and now they will be within 1 point of that team. Costa Rica has it tough as they play Canada. They play Canada. Costa Rica, and if you're Panama and if you're Mexico, USA, you know, as a Mexican fan, I'm rooting for Canada to take out Costa Rica, beat them, and kind of put them in the danger zone where it becomes almost impossible for them to do anything. On Sunday, Mexico plays Honduras. USA plays Panama here in the USA. And Costa Rica plays El Salvador. And on Wednesday, Panama plays Canada, Mexico plays El Salvador, and Costa Rica plays the USA. So 3 tough games. The hardest one, obviously, the US has because they're playing the 3. They're playing Mexico, Costa Rica, and Panama. But Panama and Costa Rica both have to play USA and Canada. So this can get a lot. This is going to be a lot of fun, but it can get real scary if the US doesn't take care of business, because there is a possibility the US ends up like Italy, where they too don't make it to the World Cup. So the USA has to take care of business today. This is I know we use this a lot in sports, but it is a must win for the USA. And it is a must win for Mexico. Both teams have to win. Obviously, only one team could possibly win. But both teams have to go in this with a must win mentality, because a loss, and obviously Mexico has the easier road after this game. And it is why I think Mexico has a mental obligation to win, to regain back the edge. But the US has to win today to give themselves confidence heading into the next 2, because this is going to get tough for them. And so we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see how it all goes. I'm not going to give you a prediction. I'm not going to do that. I'm a little stitious, like Michael Scott, when it comes to that. So I'm not going to give you a prediction. I hope Mexico wins. I hope I'm celebrating. And if not, I'll be tweeting away my sad thoughts on Twitter today. And so that's where we're at with international football. Let's do some football to close the pod. Some American football. We had Deshaun Watson got traded. We had Tyreek Hill, who got traded. And the NFL this offseason has been just, they looked at the NBA and they said, NBA, you think you have the best offseason? Hold my beer. And they kind of just went on, and it's been bonkers what's gone on in the NFL. And you still have guys like Stephon Gilmore, who has no team yet. You have Bobby Wagner, who has no team yet, although he want to go visit the Rams. So hopefully he comes to San Francisco or gets the hell out of the NFC West. So here we go. This is what we have. We have Tyreek Hill, who got moved. And I want to hit on this because it happened yesterday. He got moved for such a big package. And it was such a big package that moved Tyreek Hill. And when I saw the trade go down, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the trade package that was sent for Tyreek Hill. It was, let me read you what it was. So Tyreek Hill gets traded, and he gets traded to Miami, and Miami gives up this year's first round pick, a second round pick, a fourth round pick, and as well as a fourth and a sixth round pick in next year's draft. And they give Tyreek Hill a massive contract, 4 years, $120 million extension, including $72.2 million guaranteed. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of commitments, a lot of picks. And now you can, if you're a Dolphins fan, you say, well, we had a lot of draft picks, so we might as well use them, bring in a guy that we know is good. But I have a few questions. Are we sure? Tyreek Hill is worth it at this stage of his career? Tyreek Hill, at this stage of his career, he is a short wide receiver who relies heavily on his speed. Tyreek Hill is, let me tell you how old he is. Tyreek Hill, you're giving up a lot, is 20 years old. So he's entering just a part of his career where he's going to start losing a step or two. And I know the rules have changed. I know the game is not as physical, but for you to, I just don't like this idea that you're gonna commit so much resources to a guy who is that is built the way Tyreek Hill is built. Because as soon as Tyreek Hill loses a step, it's not like he can still be a red zone option. It's not like he's like 6'4", 6'3", where he's still going to be a possession receiver. This is a guy who's built an entire great career. He's a nightmare on speed, but eventually speed just will fade away, and what you have left is the physical. And I just would have not invested that much into a guy like Tyreek Hill. On the other side, you start to see what happens when the quarterback takes up a big chunk of your cap. I know that Patrick Mahomes is a really good quarterback. I know that he's arguably top 5 quarterback, top 3. Some would have him top 1. But this is what happens when your quarterback takes the majority of the cap space. Because it's what's going on in Green Bay as well. It's why Green Bay had to get rid of Devontae Adams. Although they couldn't afford him, but I think Devontae Adams was tired of the Aaron Rodgers drama. But it's why now you can't keep other guys. And it's why the Packers are going to go into this season with Aaron Jones and Tanyan as their 2 weapons for Aaron Rodgers. Yikes! And Marquez Valdez-Scantling signed with the Chiefs today, and so it's such a weird thing that happens because Tyreek Hill was trying to work out a deal with the Chiefs, and they said, "Well, no, find somewhere else." I like the move for the Chiefs because I'm thinking of it long term. But also, if you're Miami, are we sure Tua is the guy that can take advantage of this? Everyone just keeps saying like, "Oh, they got Waddle and Tua and Mostert, fastest team in the league." Okay, well, Mostert, you can get him the ball from the backfield, but are we sure Tua is going to be consistent enough to be able to get the ball into those hands? Like, are they going to be able to take advantage of that speed? It's one thing to have speed, but if you can't take advantage of it, then why the hell do you want it? So that's I don't like the trade. I like the trade for the Chiefs ultimately, but we'll see how it goes. I think if you're the Chiefs, you're trusting on the infrastructure. You're trusting on Mahomes over Hill. You're trusting on Andy Reid, and you're trusting on Eric Bieniemy, and that's what you're trusting on. And in the AFC, that's gotten just ridiculously better, where it seems like every team kind of bolstered up. The AFC West is going to be a bloodbath, and that's going to be so much fun. It's going to be amazing for the Geeks. I can't wait for the season to start because we're seeing these moves happen every single day. And so, yeah. So we'll be doing a Sunday pod on Sunday, obviously, a big NBA one as the playoffs are approaching. The Celtics are really hot. The Lakers are really not, and that's super frustrating. And so we'll do a big NBA one and do a big recap of what happened in the Mexico USA game. I'll have that one up on Sunday as well in recap of what happened in the USA game and what happened in Sunday's World Cup qualifier game, because we have three games of just madness, and I love it. And also, there's on the other side of the Gomen Bowl as well. Just a lot of stuff going on in sports, so it's good time. Baseball starts in 2 weeks, so we're excited for that, and we'll have Harry on to get all that stuff and talk about all of it. And yeah, so keep an eye out for all those things. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe. You can listen to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, anywhere you get your podcasts. You can listen to us. You can watch it on YouTube. So please rate, review, subscribe, spread the word. I appreciate you for doing that. So until next time, this is German Arrowsup Podcast. Adios.